First one, Spiz is Fire Lou. There we go. Right off. Starting off hot. Fire Lou Roy pulls Milbury duty as GM head coach. Daniel comments, I could be down with this, but when you compare it to Milbury, I'm just stuck in my trauma and can't think. And then Spiz's pressure makes diamonds. I know that's scientifically correct, but I don't agree.
I think that is a recipe for a toxic environment to have a GM head coach. Now that is not me defending and being like the Islanders have to keep Lou Lamoriello forever. Like, right. I think if your opinion is the Islanders should move on from Lou Lamoriello, I don't think you're wrong for that, having that opinion. I don't think they are going to do anything in season with Lou Lamoriello, and which maybe begs the question that, or not begs the question, but maybe goes to the time to move on from him was this past off season. But here's the issue. If, let's say this past year, they hire Patrick Waugh and it wasn't the interim tag, he had the rest of last year and this year on contract, could you have fired Lou and then found the general manager who then wants to work with Patrick Waugh? Because then you're kind of working backwards because you have the coach already in place and looking for the GM, and not like the clean slate. All right, we're going to hire a GM, and then that GM is going to hire a coach.
Yeah. You're not able to fully rebuild because you're just still kind of stuck 1 foot in the past type of thing.
Exactly, which is no good. Half measures are not great.
No.
But I like Patrick Waugh, and I feel like most people do.
Yeah.
So, like, after this year, I guess it depends on how it goes, right? But my question is going to be, after this year, is the consensus going to be keep Patrick Waugh and fire Lou Lamoriello? And like, does that even make sense, or should you just move on from both?
I don't know. It obviously depends on the nature of why we're firing him, and obviously, like, we can't tell the future. But if they're in such a position where they're going to fire Lou Lamoriello, I would want them to do it before the trade deadline. So, like, we're putting ourselves in a position where this is even possible. I would want them to do that before the trade deadline. I don't want Lou Lamoriello, who's got 1 foot out the door, to be making trades, because that doesn't make any sense. This is the opportunity to start whatever rebuild or retool you're going to be doing. This is step number 1. So you need the new guy in place for that rebuild by the trade deadline, which is end of March, right? Or mid-March, I think, this year. Maybe not mid-March. What am I talking about? Anyways, doesn't matter. It's in March. You need that guy in place then. So, and sorry, that's when I would want it done. I'm trying to answer like 3 different questions in my own head right now, because the first question is like to fire Lou, not even question, but fire Lou and put Roy to do double duty, which I disagree with entirely. I think that in modern sports you can't have that anymore.
No, God no. You couldn't have it in the 90s either.
That's another thing. But like the era of like basically the manager, kind of like in soccer, is also done. The one guy, the gaffer, who's responsible for player acquisitions, to do the coaching, to do all that, one guy to oversee it all, is just done. You need to my God, I can't even think of the word.
Compartmentalize.
Thank you. Compartmentalize these tasks into individual people, and have one person overseeing the overall strategy, but you need to have these people do separate jobs. We cannot have one person do both. That is a recipe for disaster. Absolutely. Can't have it.
No, I'm with you. It can't be both. He can't do both.
Yeah.
Do you think Patrick Waugh wants to stay as a coach, or does he want to be in an executive role? Because I've seen people be like, oh, you just move Patrick Waugh into the executive role. Is that what he wants to do?
It has been rumored that he wants to do that, and he did that before with the Ramparts, right? Well, although he was the owner, but he did all of it. Would he want to be a GM? He probably wants to call the shots. I would imagine he seems like the type of guy who would want to. If it opens up, maybe they do it. Maybe he would want to take it, but I'm not confident in that. I don't know.
No, I'm not either. I'm not convinced that that's what they would end up doing.
No, I think they would want someone more established before going to Patrick Waugh to be a first-time GM. Here we go. Although maybe he interviews really well for the spot. Maybe he has the strategy down. Possible. He knows what he wants, type of thing. But who knows? Also, I'm down. Like, initially, fire Lou. If you want to fire Lou, I will not be surprised. I will not poo-poo the idea at all. I don't think right now is the time. But if it gets to a point where that is a reasonable option, I'm not going to say no. Absolutely not. And I'll be like, okay, well, good. Thanks you for everything you've done, and let's find.
Yeah, it should be. By the way, it should be a happy transition. I think.
Yes.
Which is not consensus, by the way. If you look online, it is very much so. This guy's the worst and has run this team into the ground, which I don't even think he's doing a great job anymore. I don't. I really don't think he's doing a great job. But I think we are doing a disservice to ignore how much the franchise as a whole has changed from pre-2018 to what they are from 2018 to now.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.